All right, good morning, everybody. This is Chris Gawlik here at Famous Poker Series Goliath 2016. I have one of the icons of poker, certainly on the industry side of things, Jack McClelland with us. Jack, thank you for coming out this morning. Jack will be the host of our seniors events this Saturday here at Famous Poker Series Goliath, and he has vowed not to eliminate too many of the players.
I want to bust them all.
Like I said, he wants to bust every single one of you. So we certainly want to learn a little more about Jack here, and I want to go back to one of the early stories about your playing days, and tell me about how you transitioned from player to tournament director.
Well, I wanted to be a full-time player when I came out, but I had my mother with me, and she was sick, so I figured just as a backup, I better go to work. So I started at the bottom and learned, from to deal and move up, and then became a shift boss. And then I fell in love with tournaments, and that became my passion. And starting in 1984, I started working at the World Series. But before that, I played a lot of the little tournaments. One year, I remember I played like 500 tournaments. And I was always going home complaining to my late wife that, they run these tournaments so bad. And she says, well, you're such a genius. Why don't you go run them? So I did.
She's a genius too, apparently.
She was a pretty smart lady. And so started the '84 World Series and started getting more events and got well known. And since I was a player and I understood everything from both sides of the table, how when you're playing your case money in a tournament, it's not life or death. It's much more important. And the two words I used most in 37 years were "I understand." Yes, player, I understand. The dealer's doing a bad job. I'll talk to him. Yes, dealer, I understand. This player's not a nice person. I'll take care of it. And I always figured my job was to diffuse the situation rather than to escalate it, because you had to have some discipline, but you'd slap them on the wrist and you have to give them a little sugar because you want to keep them coming back as repeat customers.
So going back to the playing side of the game, what advice now would you offer a new player just getting into the game? There's so many books out, there's so many webcasts you can watch, hand histories, but how do you weigh that versus the breaking into the game in the 80s, early 90s before stuff like that?
Well, when I started back in the 70s, it was all instinct. You play, you get broke, you play, you get broke, you play, you get broke, and you learn. And, then more information started coming out, and then the internet came out. And now the younger players have a huge advantage. I mean, before they're old enough to walk in a casino, they might have played 2 million hands, and they can look at the hand history and the tendencies of the other players, which we never had any of that. It was all just instinct and fly by the seat of your pants, and a lot of casualties along the way. And money management, time management is still the key. Don't play when you're tired, don't drink, don't play when you're mad, don't play when you're fighting with your girlfriend. It's just...
Pay attention, this is all important, guys, I promise.
It's all really basic stuff, but it's unbelievable how many people... I've seen so many people, they come to town with nothing and they run it into $500,000, $1 million, and a year later they're gone out of town, they're back home driving a cab someplace, you never see them again. I mean, thousands of them.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate part of the game. Okay, so please make sure you get here on the Mez this Saturday for our seniors event. Jack McClelland will be our host. He told me he wasn't going to bust anyone. Now he wants to bust everyone. I got no idea what he's going to do. He may end this thing in 4 or 5 hours and make it the shortest tournament in the history of a Famous Poker Series Goliath.
It's probably not my style, but no, I mean, when you go into a tournament, you got to figure out if you're not going to play to win, why come? 99% of the time you're going to be disappointed. People come in second or they're disappointed. But
nobody ever remembers second place.
Yeah, who come in second in the Kentucky Derby? I don't know.
What year?
Yeah. So, it's a game. You're playing to win, and winning it in everything. It's the only thing.
Perfect. You play to win. That's the only reason why we're here, right?
Exactly.
All right, so come on out on Saturday. Take a shot. Maybe you'll bust Jack. Maybe you'll bust you, but we can certainly assure you're going to have a great time. We can't wait for our seniors event this Saturday. Jack's going to be a gracious host, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So, Jack, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
And we will see you on Saturday. Thanks, everybody.